Hi boys and girls, and welcome to K-Tapes. This week I've been able to go and do some shopping in Seoul. I've been there Monday and I went back Thursday, so twice I've been to Seoul, and on my first trip there I picked up about like 7 or 8 tapes, and when I came back on Thursday I went there with a friend. I was able to go to a couple more stores because all the stores that I went to on Monday, maybe half of them were open, so I went to see the other half. And in those stores I was able to pick up another dozen tapes. So today I will show you about maybe 17-18 tapes and 2 or 3 DVDs. I rarely pick up DVDs because actually this channel is called K-Tapes, but today we're gonna go for a bit of K-DVDs. So let's start now because we have a bunch of stuff. I'll start with the wonderful Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which by the way, there's always a bit of concern with this tape. Whenever I post this, people always tell me the same thing. I mean, my friend said that before. It's kind of funny, but if I would get like $1 for everyone that told me that, I would be like a millionaire by now. But yes, I know it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 on the cover right here. I know that, but the tape, trust me, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. The reason is they do, as you know, they do that all the time with Korean tapes, especially some like older ones around the 90s. They always switch like artwork and they put whatever they feel like would sell on the cover and sometimes even on the back. This time around, I think everything on the back is pretty much from the movie, although I can't remember about this one. It's been a while since I watched Texas Chainsaw 2 and 1. Yeah, this is maybe not from part 1, it's probably from part 2. Anyway, this is Texas 1. The condition of this tape is not the best. I found like better copies in the past. So by the way, I'm selling this one. I'm not selling it as expensive as the previous copies because this one got like a bit of sun fade. The previous copies were fairly clean and like almost unfaded. If they were faded, it was like 5% fade. So this one goes for much cheaper. But nevertheless, the copy itself, the tape is very clean. So that's always what we're looking for. So here we go for Texas 1. Next one, hey, if you get Texas 1, might as well get Texas 2. So this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I know you got image from part 2. Looks like they're both part 2s, but part 1, and here you have part 2. And this is the first release. This was on Seoul, and strangely enough, part 2 came out before part 1 in Korea. So I guess that's the reason why they use the imagery from part 2 on part 1, so that, you know, people would know, oh, I know this movie. Anyhow, so this is part 2. Very gruesome cover. I love it. It's like you got like some gore stuff, which is quite unusual for Korean releases. Usually they're a bit more tame. So this is really fun. I mean, I love this release. It's gorgeous. And this one is in pretty good shape, to be honest. A bit of fade on the side, but it's one of the maybe best copies I've found so far. Same with the tape, is in decent condition. There's no mold. Oh, and by the way, whenever I do those videos like this, what I do is I do clean like the covers and everything, because sometimes they're really dusty and like they're not really presentable. But I do all the cleanup job, and after that I show you the goods. So yeah, I spend like the entire day cleaning those tapes. All right, so that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Another really cool horror film from the 80s, The Burning. This one too, I had it in the past. This is not my first copy. This one is not in top shape. As you can see, like a bit of damage at the bottom here, a bit of fade on the spine, a bit of damage here in the corner. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, it's all around. Bottom line is not in amazing shape, but it's still in good shape. Same with the tape. So there you go, The Burning. That's always a pick when I mean, it's always a grab when I see one, because they tend to sell pretty quickly if the price is right. So I grabbed this one. So this up for sale. This one, I've seen it before in Daegu. I never picked it up because it was super faded on the spine, so I just left it there. This copy, though, is pretty nice. It's got a bit of fade. It's not perfect, but it's in excellent shape. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Again, as you can see with the artwork, it looks like something that came out maybe mid-90s or something. So it's not like a super old tape. It looks like a late release, but it's a really fun release. By the way, it's the same label as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So again, something that came out later than the release itself. And it's quite fun. It goes along with, you know, it plays with nice graphics and stuff. So it's a fun release. A bit of fade on the spine, but hey, it's a good looking tape. All right, next one. Yeah, this one, the box is a bit busted, but I keep it because it's the original box. Here you got Hobgoblins. So Hobgoblins, that's kind of rare though. So that's why I picked it up. Label NVC, right here, NVC. That's like one of the oldest labels in Korea. Like they came out in the, I believe, mid 80s. So that's quite rare. Pick this one up. Nice. There you go. So it's a really cool tape. Okay, what do we have next? I have a little Mondo film for you. I think it's called, the Italian title at least, Magica Nuda. So this one is Mondo Cane, Mondo Magic. I have another copy of this. It's an earlier release, although it was like again in the 90s. This one says 2002, so the thing is, I think it's like a re-release in 2002. It probably has like more footage, or it's uncut or something. But the cover is so cool. Like you can tell that they really put some effort in this artwork. So this copy again, great condition. There's no fade on the spine. It's a mint copy pretty much, or near mint copy. Same goes for the tape. Really cool. They have the sticker that replicates the cover. Same goes for the side sticker. Okay, so Mondo Magic. All right, next, another NVC tape. As you can see, NVC, another old label. This one is, if I check, I think that was like an late 80s release, like 85. Yeah, it's even older. Cujo, Stephen King. This tape, you know what, it's the first time I find this tape, so I was so excited because the cover is quite cool, honestly, with the blood dripping and everything. So it's one in a lifetime. Only one time I find this tape, so have a look at it. It's really great. Good choice of imagery. All right, next we're gonna go into some Asian films before I have like more cool stuff to show you. So this one here, I saw it in a store, and it was under like the Asian ghost, Chinese ghost stuff. I think this film is Taiwanese to be precise, and it's something like Ghost in the Tree, or I have to look it up again, but it has tree and ghost. So the ghost of tree something. I think it exists on DVD. Is it uncut? I don't know. I think the DVD has like English subtitles, so this tape is kind of meh. But I found it really cool, and it's fairly rare. I think I saw this tape like only once or twice, probably twice. So anyway, I grabbed it. All right, another one. Here I fall into the, I didn't do my research before posting this video and before making this video, but this tape, I showed it to a friend of mine who's into Kung Fu, and I asked him, hey, do you know what this is? And I think he pulled out a title which I forgot, and he said, I don't, he didn't even know it was that, because again, you know, maybe they have wrong pictures on the cover, on the box, so who knows if it's that title or if it's the same movie. But anyway, I found it very cool, and the price was right, so I grabbed this one. Yeah, simply because I like the artwork and everything. Usually when I go for martial art films, I try to go for stuff that I know doesn't exist on DVD, or there's like, I don't know, additional scenes on the Korean release and things like that. I will not go for stuff that's already been released, because usually people who collect Kung Fu, they tend to just go for tapes that they know don't exist anyhow, like on any other format than the tape. So I do not want to get stuck with stuff I don't quite enjoy. So anyway, this tape is quite nice. All right, in Kung Fu once again, this one here. This one is, by the way, in Korea with collectors, it's usually expensive. This tape usually goes for, I would say, about $100, even for Korean collectors. And that's if you find it. And even like $100, I'm being a bit conservative here. So this is a Casanova Wong film. I think it's called The Master Strikes, or Master Strikes. Early 80s, late 70s. I believe it's early 80s, maybe 81. The tape is actually also very old. Samwon tape. It's probably early 80s. No, 86 or 87. Well, still old and hard to find. So there you go. Next, oh, this one is so cool. Mission Thunderbolt. So if you're not familiar with this, yeah, it looks like Machete or something. Maybe they got the idea from there. But this is a Godfredo production. Again, probably a cut and paste thing. I've never seen the film. I just like the cover, and I took it, and when I came back home, I just did a bit of research and noticed it was a Godfredo film. Very happy about it, because the copy is really gorgeous. The artwork is so cool. Condition wise, it is in excellent condition, and as you can see, same with the tape, really good. So Mission Thunderbolt. Next, we're going to go into some Korean films, horror film. And this one I grabbed it because it's getting very rare. Actually, any Korean horror films are worth grabbing, because they didn't really re-release them on DVD, but there's no like TV rips of them or like web rips or anything. So if you see the tapes, you grab them, and that's what I did. And this one is one of the horror films that has like perhaps the best artwork for the VHS, because most of the Korean horror films, the artwork tend to look like erotic films, to be honest. Maybe because they all came out in the mid 80s, early 80s, late 80s, and at the time it was like kind of a boom for erotica in Korea. So that's my only guess. So anyway, this is called The Fourth Horror. There's another Korean title, I just totally forgot it. And it was a fun movie, a little bit cheap, but totally horror. It was fun. Anyway, Fourth Horror, that was a grab. Next one. This is a movie I already had before, but my copy unfortunately had a lot of mold, and I'm still trying to, clean it up, but it's like hardcore cleaning. So when I saw this one, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab it, because in case I cannot clean the other one, it's just gonna go to the trash, so might as well have like a backup copy. So this one is called Samwon Girl, if I do the translation, and that's also like really cool horror film. And again, one of the few Korean horror films that the artwork does look like a horror film, not erotica. So that was a pick. There you go. Spine isn't bad. I mean, this is a pretty decent looking copy. And the tape is also clean. I cleaned it up before. It was a bit moldy, to be fair, like just inside the plastic here. It wasn't touching the tape, thankfully. So this is a good looking copy. All right, we have 4 more tapes to go. All right, this one, guys, usually I don't show erotica because, you know, it's YouTube and everything, but there's nothing too sexy about this cover, so I'm gonna show it to you anyway. And anyway, the title is so funny. This one is like a rip-off, or how to say, like, not even a parody, because it's like a rip-off. I looked it up a little bit. Anyway, it's Terminator, or more precisely, it rips off Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 in the same movie, and it's like an erotic parody. A little bit like what they did in America, in the States, what was it? The Penetrator or something, and it was like 1 and 2, and it was like just like a porn parody of Terminator. But this one is not porn, because as you know, there's no porn in Korea. It's just like erotica. So this one is really funny. I've seen, like, there's a couple of scenes they ripped off, like when Arnold said, "Give me your clothes," and he's like naked in front of like the punks at the beginning in Terminator 1. So they ripped off that scene, except, I don't know, he goes at it with some girls. Anyway, so that was really fun, and really happy to pick this up. First time I see this, by the way, so it's kind of, I had, here you go, I'll be back. I'll be back. I won't show you the back because it has like a bit of more like racy pictures, so here you go. Terminator. All right, now let's get to the serious stuff here. This gorgeous copy here of Brothers in Blood. If you're not familiar with this, I wasn't, to be fair. By the way, this is DNS, our beloved DNS label, who releases like lots of horror films usually. Brothers in Blood, this is a Tonino Valeri film. So Italian film, Italian production, and apparently, I thought it was like shot in the Philippines, because many movies were shot in the Philippines, like all the Vietnam stuff, like war movies at the time, back in the early 80s, mid 80s, even late 80s. But this one I think was shot in Dominican Republic for some reason. Anyway, so you have it there, Brothers in Blood. Okay, and let's continue with some Italian stuff here. This one, this is the second time I find this tape. I found it, I would say, at least like 6 years ago, if not 7 years ago. I sold it to a big collector in Europe, and never to find it again. I don't know why. But this movie, even though I'm sure like some of the pictures do not match the movie, the title at all. If you look here, sorry, with the reflection. Okay, it says Toxic Spawn. Toxic Spawn is actually contamination. So yes, this is the notorious Contamination film, Italian movie from the, was that early 80s, late 70s? I'll go for early 80s. Anyway, kind of looks like Alien and stuff, like a bit of rip-off of that. So this is very rare. Sadly, it has like a little sticker here, probably like a rental sticker. I'm a bit scared to try to, you know, scratch it off. I'll probably leave it for now, and if I sell it, the person will probably deal with it or just won't care. It's a bit of fade. There's a bit of fade on the spine. I can't recall my previous copy if it was in better shape or not, but it's in decent shape, let's say. And the tape is clean and everything. So once again, this is usually the most important part. Okay, next, I keep the best for last. This is again a tape I've never seen before. It's the first time I come across this. Exterminator 2. And I'm sorry, but this copy blows everything out of the water. I mean, it looks like it just came out. It's perfect. I mean, there's no sun fade at all. Even the box itself is still a bit glossy and clean. You can't, I mean, this is the pure definition of mint. I mean, whenever I put on my website, on my Facebook page, when I sell stuff and I put mint, it means the tape will pretty much look like this. Otherwise it falls into near mint. But this is mint. I mean, look at this. There's still like the tab here, little tab not to record over the tape, so it hasn't been removed. I mean, the tape is super clean. Et voila, Exterminator 2, one-of-a-kind tape, beautiful. Okay, so now let's go to K-DVD mode, and I'll show you like just little things I grabbed. They were kind of cheap, and usually this stuff, it used to be everywhere. Like many stores would have them because, you know, like DVDs are still around. I mean, DVDs are still easy to find in Korea. I mean, easy, by that I mean, you know, they're not tapes, so they're still quite easy to find. But these titles in particular, like all the, I would say all the kids stuff is getting harder to find. So the one store I usually go in Seoul has like thousands, tens of thousands of DVDs. But for this series, I'm sorry, this series right here, these two, this thing is like 8 or 9 parts. Probably like the Korean people watching this video would tell me more. But this series called Hureme from Outer Space, with Shin Yeon-rae, and it was super famous with kids back in the late 80s and the 90s. So all that generation that grew up with this know this series for sure. But I can't remember if there were like 8 or 9 movies. I'm gonna go for 9, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, so this is part 2, and we have part 4. There used to be a box set housing like the entire series, again like 9 DVDs, 8 DVDs, and they also made 2 box sets. So like the first box set was like 4 DVDs and the second one 5, or vice versa. But they're now like discontinued and like super hard to find, if not impossible to find. But the standalone DVDs can still be found, although the place I found these two, those were the last copies, and I just grabbed them because of that. Not that they were expensive or anything, just the last copies. And this one here, I forgot, what's the title again? Gangdagu Fighter. I probably just massacred the title right here. But this is, again, it used to be, I think, it's on 3 tapes. For the VHS version of this, it's on 3 different tapes. And if you're familiar with this series, you know there was like a Korean version of Dragon Ball. And this is with the same kid that plays the Goku, or whatever. I do not follow Dragon Ball, I'm sorry, but the main character in Dragon Ball, is it Goku? So yeah, Goku, the little kid with the spiky hair anyway. So it's the same child actor that plays in this. So you can see him right there. Try to focus for you guys. Wait a second. Okay, yeah, so this little kid here used to be the Dragon Ball kid in the Korean release of Dragon Ball. So I'm guessing this is the whole series, so I do not have to chase the 3 tapes or 2 more DVDs. That's the whole series. All right, guys, enough for today. It's still very hot outside. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Daegu in the weeks to come. If I do go to Daegu, it's probably gonna be this fall. So anyway, I'm probably going to go back to Seoul and hopefully find more treasures. So this was our pick for this summer. I hope to find more stuff. And once again, thank you for watching. I'm gonna have one more video to come before this fall because I'm getting a bit busy right now. But this video is gonna be something a bit different than what I do usually, which is just showing you tapes. Not to tell you more, it's probably gonna be something about a top 10 of some sort. So stay tuned and see you next time. Thank you.